Hey, flies. And I don't know why, but Californian flies or American flies are just larger than whatever I'm used to before. What's up? It's a culture detective here investigating your favorite albums. And today I'm going to be doing a quick album review on the new The Black Skirts album, Teenage Troubles. So The Black Skirts, aka Cho Hyu-il, is a Korean artist who has been making music that sort of goes between indie rock, power pop, and slacker rock. And the Black Skirts, aka 검정치마, has released a new album here. And I learned about the Black Skirts about last year when I tried really hard to get into Korean music, and I went through artist after artist after artist after artist. And while most of them didn't shock me or anything, one artist in particular really stood out to me, and it's not the Black Skirts. But still, the Black Skirts has a lot of potential, and he sounds like he's capable of making some really fantastic music. So anyways, Black Skirts' new album, let's talk about it. The thing with this album, Teenage Troubles, is that it is very long. It has 18 songs and it is 1 hour and 5 minutes long, which is uncharacteristically long for an album, from South Korea at least, and for a rock album as well. So I really didn't know what to expect. And surely a lot of the tracks here, I guess if there's one thing I would like to see more on this album, it would be versatility, because with 18 tracks, a lot of the tracks here are the same dreamy, nostalgic rock jams, which I really love. But 1 hour and 5 minutes of that, maybe a little too much. But still, there are highlights all across the album for me. We have the track Flying Bobs, the album opener, with the echoey, reverby vocals and the shoegazy guitars. It's nostalgic, it's sweet, it's young, it's lively. That is followed with Baptized in Fire, which is a much more exciting track with, again, very nostalgic chords and tight drums. And if you know me, you know that I'm a sucker for nostalgic chord progressions. If a song has a nostalgic chord progression, I will automatically love it. So, it just works. The vocals are a little bit buried, and that's another thing I wish to see improved for the Black Skirts, because his vocals are truly not that great, but I think the instrumentals are already awesome enough to rile the song up. And the chorus of this track has a very strong late 2000s power pop flavor to it, which is really nice. My Little Lambs is a guitar ballad with a swing groove, and there is a very awesome guitar solo in the middle of the track, which is really nice. The album is mostly in Korean, sometimes in English, and I looked at some of the lyrics for the album, and they're mostly kind of abstract and vague, but what I can tell from the lyrics of the album and the lyrics of this track is that this album is a bit of a concept album, again, with the album cover, with the title, Teenage Troubles. This album is very much about teenage love, teenagers being very friendly, living the very nostalgic life, and then looking back as an adult. Tracks like Friends in Bed and Love You the Same really reflect that, that teenage young love nostalgia type of style. Anyway, Sunday Girl is a really relaxing, laid-back synth-pop tune with a very digitally manipulated vocals, which I think adds to the relaxedness of the track. Alright, I need to leave very soon. Cicadas is a noisy chunk of slacker rock track. Almost reminds me of like Tony Molina. The wailing guitars in the chorus is really intoxicating, and overall it's a really nice track. And then we have Follow You, which is a tight-paced, exciting, straightforward piece of pop rock. The background vocals are an amazing addition to the track. And then we have 3 more tracks back to back to back that I think are pretty great. Powder Blue has some really fun, nimble synths that sound like it came straight out of an old video game. And the track Electra is a pretty straightforward pop rock jam. Min is where the album slows down with a quiet track, and the Black Skirts kind of shine through on quiet tracks like this because of the focus on the vocals and the dreaminess. And then lo and behold, we have the track Jeff and Alana, which is definitely one of the most special tracks here, because on this track, the Black Skirts attempt ska. And it slaps. It slaps. I like the tropical keyboards and drums. I like the weirdly noisy bridges. I think ska is a very underrated genre, and this is also one of the most underplayed tracks on the album. But surprisingly, it is ska, yes. Ling Ling is another highlight on the album for me. It is a slow rock song with sweet and dreamy keyboards and guitars that sort of come off this very farewellish sort of vibe, sort of this goodbye. And the album ends off with Our Own Summer, with the very 80s descending keyboards that sounds like it's part of a soundtrack to Stranger Things, and a very mean saxophone solo that came out of nowhere. And reverby vocals as well. Pretty nice, sort of this dreamy, slow ending to the album. Now that being said though, I do admit that this album is a bit too long. It almost feels like there are a few points on the album, especially on tracks like Friends in Bed, Jersey Girl, Love You the Same, 99%. There are nothing all that special about these tracks, and I feel like the Black Skirts had almost written himself into a corner where, yeah, he knows the formula to a beautiful, dreamy, nostalgic pop rock song, and he just follows that formula again and again and again and again and again, and it's a little bit formulaic. Now, I love nostalgic, sweet, dreamy pop rock songs. They're definitely my thing, but too much of them does make this album feel very freaking dense. And then we have tracks like John Fry and Garden State Dreamers that feel like they're dreamy for the sake of being dreamy. They're a little too slow and a little too uneventful. So yeah, overall, I'd say this album is a tad bit bloated, but overall, it still has a great selection of tracks. And yeah, I need to make myself lunch and immediately run out of this apartment to go to college. So I'm just gonna end off the review here. I'm giving the new Black Skirts album, Teenage Troubles, a strong 7. Maybe to a light 8 out of 10. I think I'll just leave it at a strong 7. So have you listened to the new Black Skirts album? For when it did, you rate it, like, and subscribe if you want more. And thanks for watching.